here to set the...
This is GJRB. GJRB News, I'm Gary Russen. In the news today, we start off our news with this gun control issue, and Representative John Lewis calls for for action on gun violence. He said so many have dead bodies, and we need to make a Congress to do something.
This Congress has failed the American people. After Newtown and Brewer, after Charleston and Orlando, now Las Vegas, how many more must die? 100, 1,000, 10,000, a million? What is your blood price? How many more must die? How many mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, sons and daughters, husband and wife? Tell me what? Tell me and tell us. What is the number? How many more dead bodies will it take to wake up this Congress?
And of course he's talking about, and a lot of them are talking about, a gun control issue in mind. And it's, let's see, in other news, it looks like the Las Vegas Review-Journal has reported that mass murderer Stephen Paddock was prescribed antidepressants just months before his rampage, reporting that medical records state that the mass murderer has prescribed to antidepressants just a few months before that Route 91 Harvest country event in which he shot fire. This is GJRB News.
Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radioland, a day of nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between, like the days of radio, almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel, Radioland.
End times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB. And in other news this afternoon, we have some of the news stories we're going to cover today for you, including President Trump, who visited Puerto Rico. We'll talk about this coming up. He visited Puerto Rico, and we got some sound bites for you on that story throughout the afternoon. We're going to do that story during our news and comment coming up next hour. He visited Puerto Rico, and some of the people there were not happy with the way he was, doing this event. He kind of insulted a lot of people. We'll talk about that story next hour in that news. Also coming up, in news and comment, we'll talk about other stories this afternoon, including Air Force One, which landed in Puerto Rico. That's the story we're talking about. And also some other interesting stories. And also, we'll have our birthdays and even anniversaries coming up in news and comment coming up this afternoon on GJRB. Meanwhile, we're going to take a look at the stock market report, the U.S. ticker from the GJRB online CNN area. The Dow Jones Industrial Average now is up 26 points. NASDAQ up 1.58, and the S&P up 3.16. We'll have news at the bottom of the top of the clock, and of course, news and comment, and This is GJRB's original news talk program, the Gary Russen program. News and comment coming up next hour. Gary J. Russen, GJRB News.
You hear great jazz on GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, smooth jazz, and smooth afternoon. If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune in to KALA, St. Ambrose University in Davenport, Iowa, at 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you'll hear a lot of great jazz programming, and programming in other great music formats, like blues, urban, including rap, also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind, Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information on that great programming you'll hear, check out their schedule at www.sau.edu/KALA. Even if you don't live in the Quad Cities area, you can enjoy KALA anywhere in the world with their internet stream. Connect with KALA. Listen and enjoy. Next news at the bottom of the hour. Get real news breaks. You're covered and informed.
Now, GJRB presents the Gary Russen program, the original news talk program. Call Gary J. Russen right now on the Skype line at gary.russen, or contact him on the GJRB chat room by clicking the balloon icon on the GJRB Spreaker widget on the Spreaker public site and on Twitter. Now, the Gary Russen program. Well, hello everyone. Hello everywhere. Yeah. Welcome. Oh yeah, we got it here. Hello everyone. Listening on social sites across America, welcome to the Gary Russen program on GJRB online on Spreaker and across America, and I'm glad you could be with me today. We got a great show lined up for you. We're going to talk a lot about interesting things and a lot of stuff here on the show. And of course, always love doing this program because I have so much fun talking to you folks. Even though I don't get that much of a audience participation, it's always a blast to just kind of talk to you about what's going on in the nation's news, because it's been a really interesting weekend, as you will know. On Sunday night in Las Vegas, some square, some nut, some screwball opened fire on innocent kids, innocent people just listening to country music. Another tragedy. Automatic weapons spraying bullets into a crowd listening to country concert on the Route 91 Music Festival. What's going on here? I mean, this is kind of crazy that they would pull. Why are they doing this? Why is this? And he said this guy had what they call automatic weapon. He didn't have an automatic weapon. He had some kind of a device. I didn't know there was such a thing. A device that can go onto any gun and turn it into an automatic weapon. I mean, they can do this now. I mean, this kind of, technology we have nowadays. You can actually put, and this is weird. I mean, they can actually put a thing on there. I mean, this is bizarre. I've never heard of this, but apparently they have done this. They have put on this device. Makes a regular gun an automatic weapon. It just turns it into one. And this guy went off the deep end and shot a lot of people. So what was his motive? I have a few guesses. I have a few guesses. One of them is the fact that it's been proved that he's a blazing liberal who has attended a lot of anti-Trump rallies, and again, being crazy. A lot of people, all these liberals who, for some reason, cannot stand the fact that Obama's president, or Trump is president, okay? They can't take it, okay? So what they got to do is, since Trump is president, they have to continue to retaliate. They don't like the fact that this man is president, so they're going to go on a rampage now, whiny crybabies that they are, and go out and shoot innocent people just because they, didn't get their way. This is how it proves how liberals in this country act like children who, if they don't get their way, they throw a temper tantrum. And that's what this guy apparently did. And only this time, his temper tantrum cost a lot of lives. Because he decided, he was going to open fire on innocent people. This is terrible. This is downright, really, really terrible that some man would do that just because he has a petty grievance, because his president didn't win, whoever that would be. There are other reasons. They said he had he was I guess apparently on some kind of antidepressants. I don't know if they proved that, but according to an article that I just mentioned earlier at the top of the news, they apparently had, a lot of, well, I'm telling you, it's like I've said before, this is just pitiful, that all these people have to die because of this. Well over 500 injured, right? 59 people killed over this. And I have on Facebook, I was looking at some of the victims, and there's a lot of victims' names here, and there's too many to count. I probably won't even play that because it's just too sad to look at. It really is. It's too sad to look at. These people lost their lives for no reason other than some man's fit. And that's what it is. It's a fit. Okay? No matter how you look at it, it's a fit. He threw a fit. And, I really thought, that maybe the older people like us in our age would maybe have a little bit more sense than the young ones. But I've been proven wrong again. Okay? I've been proven wrong again. It doesn't matter how old you are. Still, this guy was a nut job. Well, the owner of the Detroit Lions are giving an incentive to stand during the national anthem. This woman's doing this. There's the manager of the we'll talk about this today, of the Detroit Lions. She's giving money away to the players' favorite charities if they stand for the national anthem. Are you kidding me? I doubt they'll do it. This sounds like a bribe, doesn't it? I really think that she's trying to do is trying to get the NFL to wake up and do the right thing and stand during the national anthem instead of this whole kneeling thing. She is, so maybe it is a bribe, maybe so. She's doing this for good intentions. But I just wonder how it's going to work. Because I don't see these players, even though they're going to get money for their favorite charities. I don't even know if what those charities are. I mean, you think they're going to give? I really doubt it. I really don't think guys are going to do this. No, not really. I mean, I'd be surprised if a few might pull that off, but I really don't think they're going to do it. O.J. Simpson out of jail. He was released Saturday night at 12 o'clock midnight Pacific. He is on parole apparently. Although I wonder how long that's going to last, being he's got the criminal record in his blood. He was going to do nothing but relax, he says, spending time with his family. We'll see. Next hour, I'll start news and comment. I have some interesting stories to talk about, including the Las Vegas shooter. They're also going to talk about there is possible there has more than one shooter. I'm going to do a check on this. They say the Las Vegas police saying that Paddock was not the only one. There was accounts of security cameras picking up more than one shooter. Let's see. Let's prove this. To me, that's fake news because I really don't know if I believe that. A bunch of bunk. I really don't know. I have my doubts on that one. But you know, he's a lone shooter. It kind of reminds me of the Kennedy assassination here now. You know, the old Oswald, was he the lone shooter kind of thing. You know? I mean, seriously, this is what it's beginning to sound like. We'll talk about that today. All coming up and a whole lot more, plus your comments and, well, just another rock and roll giant. Tom Petty. His music will be recognized all over, never be forgotten. I was a big fan of him. Loved his music, still do. Absolutely fantabulous guy. I'm going to be, I didn't have any of his albums. I had tapes, but I didn't have albums. A lot of the tapes were from friends that recorded it for me on their stereo. Yeah. Anyway, he was one of the 90s. And of course, I did have an album of his in the 90s. Actually, I think it was a CD. It was the album with The Last Dance with Mary Jane on it. Anybody know the name of that album? I don't remember that name. But anyway, great album. I'll be talking about him and playing some of his music as bumpers throughout the afternoon today on the Gary Russen program. So I hope you're going to enjoy the program. Stay with me. We got a lot going on. And this is the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. Be right back. GJRB Bluegrass with the Grass Goals. Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys and so much more. So it's time to bring it back. And on more often, it's Bluegrass Jubilee Freestyle with all the great songs you heard before and some new up-and-coming stars with some emerging bluegrass. Also, some all-time gospel favorites too. At a brand new time, every third Saturday at 12 noon Central on GJRB. Strange things in the sky and around the world. Strange beings sighted. What's going on? All around us, conspiracy theories are being discussed. This is the show all about the strange things that are way out there. I'm Gary Russen. This Way Out There's back with more weird stories of the strange and the bizarre. Keep looking up in the sky and let me know what you see. Way out there. Every third Friday at 2 o'clock Central on GJRB. Coming to GJRB, a program highlighting the artists that play on GJRB. Artist Showcase. The first show featuring the music of Samuel Day. We'll talk about him and his music and the songs he wrote and recorded, including his latest hit on the GJRB playlist, The Roses. In addition, you'll hear all the other Samuel Day songs. Click and listen to the podcast of the Artist Showcase. Podcast available now on the GJRB Spreaker public site. GJRB Online. Still the What's Happening sound. And we are back. Welcome back. This is the Gary Russen program on GJRB online on Spreaker. Good afternoon, everyone. This is our midweek edition. We haven't had that in a while, but we are going to, every so often, we're going to have a midweek edition. The semi-freestyle, middle of the road, over the hump day, whatever you want to call it, edition of the Gary Russen program here on GJRB online. And I'm glad you could be with me today. And I hope you're enjoying the program wherever you're listening today. And glad you could be aboard for the program, and hope you'll stay with me for the best in internet talk radio, GJRB online on Spreaker. And happy you could be sticking around for today, because we got a lot to talk about. And we'll open up. I'm going to open up my Skype line probably about a little after the hard break at 2:30, past the hard 30. But past the 2:30 hard break. Okay, I meant to say that. Couldn't say it. Well, just was not coming out. I don't know why. Every once in a while I get that, but every once in a while I get one of those where I'll my mouth doesn't want to work. I get that once in a while. Don't know why. Just somehow my mouth doesn't work. But we got a lot of good stuff coming up, and we'll be talking about. And you wanna get on board? We love to have you on there. We just do fun stuff here on the Gary Russen program. So I hope you'll stay with me all day. The Gary Russen program on GJRB online on Spreaker. And let's see. Let's see, we've got something. It's time now. Well, we got weather on the 5s coming up here in just a few minutes, but right now it's time for weather in the news. And it looks like there's another tropical depression out. Yeah, it looks like they're going to be watching this one. It's I can't remember the name of it. Let's see what we got here. A new tropical day. Oh yeah, Nate. It's expected to form and may be striking the U.S. Gulf Coast again. This is a tropical storm now, and they're saying it could approach the Gulf of Mexico. It's forming below the Gulf of Mexico right now, but they're saying that this storm could gain intensity and go up the Gulf Coast. Go up to the Gulf Coast at this point. So I'll be keeping an eye on this story. A brand new tropical depression, and they're naming it Nate. And I'm wondering how scared all you people are down in Florida right now. If we got another hurricane brewing again, oh boy, this is not good. We're going to keep an eye on this for you. But they say Tropical Storm Nate, N-A-T-E. So, alphabetical H-I-J-K-L. Yeah, okay. Jose, and Maria. Now we got Nate. Irma. Jose, Maria, and then now Nate. Which is, they're saying it's just forming in the, just below the Gulf of Mexico. So I say the storm is going to probably gain intensity and move up the Gulf Coast. So we're going to keep an eye on that for you, and I'll see what, the weather, okay? And also coming up, we'll have weather on the 5s. A lot of good stuff coming your way here on the Gary Russen program. Excuse me. Every time I finish eating for some reason, I get that belch effect. And it kind of... I don't know, it just... Anyway, let's do weather on the 5s here. Well, yeah. Weather on the 5s, let's take a look at what's happening nationwide on your nationwide weather map at this time. Strong weather system in the western U.S. is keeping temperatures cooler than normal. Many locations in the northern and central Rockies received heavy snow across the central U.S. And a cold front now will focus some heavy rain and associated with some potential flooding. This could happen for portions of the central and southern plains. Ahead of that, another front where temperatures could be warmer than normal. Okay, so a front coming in and abnormal weather conditions. Pretty much that's what it's telling you. So, if you're a meteorologist, which I got meteorologist friends, and I guess they could, and a lot of them would tell you that we got this adverse mix of temperatures like we've got. It's going to get interesting. I kind of wonder what our winter is going to be like this year. We're going to have a very interesting winter. I just predict it. I don't know. I just think it's going to get really nasty coming up. I really do. I think we're going to have one of those really interesting winters. Hate to tell you this, but I believe this is true. I think that the winters we're going to have a pretty nasty winter. And I'll keep an eye on that one for you. I follow the weather consistently. So you're going to... you can be sure that I will have a look at our winter weather here. Okay, so I can guarantee you we'll have all the weather for you here on GJRB this winter and keep you on top. Weather on the fives at 25 and 55 past on GJRB. End times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end-time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB. Coming to GJRB, a program highlighting the artists that play on GJRB. Artist Showcase. The first show featuring the music of Samuel Day. We'll talk about him and his music and the songs he wrote and recorded, including his latest hit on the GJRB playlist, The Roses. In addition, you'll hear all the other Samuel Day songs. Click and listen to the podcast of the Artist Showcase. Uploaded and published on the GJRB Spreaker Public site Friday night, September 22nd at 8 p.m. Central.
Website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
Suicide's increasing among the youth, and many of them playing suicide games. This has to stop. Parents, watch your kids, and if you feel there's something going on and they are considering suicide, please talk to them. Help them. And if it seems hopeless, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That number is 1-800-273-8255. They can help. It's free and confidential. Your call will be answered by a trained counselor in a local crisis center. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline can help.
You're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online, and we'll be right back. I got more good stuff coming up in this show, and I hope you'll tune in next half hour. We've got some great talk along the way. We're going to talk about more of what's on your mind, and of course we'll have our news and comment at the top of the hour, all coming up next. Stay tuned. The Gary Russen program continues on GJRB. From the GJRB News Desk, here's some of the stories we're covering for you at the top of the hour when we do news and comment on GJRB Online. Here's some of the stories that are going to happen for you, and we're going to talk about Trump's visit to Puerto Rico. A lot of people not too happy with Trump because of some of the things he might have said, and whether or not he understands the problem, and talk about the aftermath of the storm and comparing it to Katrina. We'll have that story and a whole lot more, including some of the stories continuing on the tragedy in Las Vegas, and updated stories as they come in. with our GJRB scroll through social media coming up with late breaking news whenever it happens on GJRB Online. I'm Gary J. Russen.
And we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end-time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB. Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radio Land. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back-to-back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radio Land.
If you're a new emerging artist and want your songs out there, the place to go is Reverb Nation. Reverb Nation, a website purely devoted to new music from new artists from every town and every state in the U.S. If you're a solo artist and recording your own music, it's Reverb Nation. Stop on by, visit, listen to the music, check out the site, www.reverbnation.com. Put your music out there and gain an audience. Go to Reverb Nation for the best in new music. And remember, if you like your songs played on GJRB Online's Up and Coming, drop me an email at GaryJ65@yahoo.com. And I'll be playing your song on all GJRB Online shows. Remember the name, Reverb Nation.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You could kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else.
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
Coming to GJRB, a program highlighting the artists that play on GJRB. Artist Showcase. The first show featuring the music of Samuel Day. We'll talk about him and his music and the songs he wrote and recorded, including his latest hit on the GJRB playlist, The Roses. In addition, you'll hear all the other Samuel Day songs. Click and listen to the podcast of the Artist Showcase. Podcast available now on the GJRB Spreaker public site.
This is Michael J. Martin, and you're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online.
Okay, that is definitely not Tom Petty, but okay. Well, you know how that goes. Oh, well. Anyway, welcome back to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online here on Spreaker, and this is our midweek edition of the Gary Russen program. Always glad to be part of the program, and glad you could be on with me today. We got a lot of great stuff coming up for you today, so I hope you'll stick around for the show. The Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online, and we just this is where we have a lot of crazy fun, you know, and we're going to talk a lot about what's going on in the news, and see what's happening in your neck of the woods, and I'm glad that you could be part of the show today. And this is where it's happening. So if you want to be part of the show, we can do that right now. I was on the attempt of getting my Skype opened in this last segment. So I'm going to work on that, and we'll get that open for you. And get your comments, and we'll have that line open here just as soon as I get the free time to do so. We'll get the Skype line open for you here on the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online on Spreaker. Along with that, we'll also talk about other things that are going on, and didn't have that ready yet, actually. I had to get my YouTube up for it, and I just didn't get ready yet. So we'll try to get that in the next segment. I'll get a Tom Petty bumper in there throughout the day, but I don't know. I think he was fabulous, and he has an interesting story to tell too about his early days with the Heartbreakers, but his early days with his previous group. And man, I tell you what, he recorded a long time, and a lot of albums that I believe were Grammy award-winning records. I mean, he's an incredible man. I wish I would have met him. He looked like he was kind of a fun guy to hang around with. Tom Petty, 66. He had a heart attack, and I guess I'm wondering if he was alone, because when you have a massive heart attack like he did, he was by himself apparently, because you would think that if he hadn't been by himself, someone would have probably called 911 and would have got him immediate help. You have to wonder about that, because otherwise he was found unconscious. Okay, so you got to wonder, maybe perhaps there was something there, and I'm wondering if that's the case. But we're going to talk about that today, and your comments as well here on GJRB Online here on Spreaker, the Gary Russen program on the air. Glad you could be with me today for all the talk and circumstance here, because we kind of do a lot of fun here. So what we're going to do right now here on the Gary Russen program is going to start opening stuff, and you know how I do that, basically, and that is to hit that bit of a show jingle and tell you how it's done. You know, gotta tell you how it's done. Okay, now all you got to do, I had that thing squeal in your ear, is to get into Skype if you got it, and just putting in Gary.Russen in the Skype search engine there, and it'll give you me right in there, and you can leave me as a favorite on your contact list. I feel good about that, just do that. And you can, this way you can call me once in a while on Skype. It's in your contact. Now, I've been getting a lot of there's women who apparently are doing this, and I keep telling them I'm married, but they don't listen. So I don't know. It's either they're listening to the program or not, because I look on my Spreaker public site and I see nothing. So I'm not sure whether or not I'm getting any responses at all. So I'm going to kind of pop in there real quick into my Spreaker public site where I'm on live. I'm going to see where I'm at here as far as listeners are concerned. Right now we're looking at our first part, still on there live, and I am not seeing any numbers so far. So I'm really hoping that changes this afternoon, and maybe get a little okay, that's Smooth Afternoon. Why did I do that for? Okay, that's the wrong show. What am I doing here? Okay, I'm on page 20. That's on my see, I have to do mark page numbers. I have to go to my page number on my documents. Okay, and then there it is. and get part 2 ready to go up. So that's what I was doing there. But anyway, yeah, you can do that, and I can pop into my Skype here real quick while I was getting it, and I just didn't finish. So I'm going to do that here in just a couple of minutes. If I accidentally hit my virtual go up, I didn't want my virtual DJ up. No, I did not. Excuse me again. Every once in a while I get, I even get acid back up sitting up. Anyway, I have to tell you about that sometime. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and try this again. Okay, Gary J65 Yahoo.com. Okay. Okay. And so it doesn't really, I have to type it in. I can't copy paste it like I do on other stuff. Okay, here we go. Got that up. Now I am available. I'm online, so that if you are in Skype, you can contact me, call me there at Gary.Russen. Now, the other one that I've got is, I'm not using my cell phone anymore. I was using my cell phone and giving my cell phone number out, but I'm learning the hard way that I'm getting unusual calls due to that. So I pretty much took my cell phone off of it for that very reason. I don't want my number online, so I decided to kind of cut that number off and only give you, the only way you can contact me is via Skype or the GJRB Spreaker chat room. And then also you can get on, I'm on Twitter. You can get on Twitter and contact me too. That is TWITTER, Twitter. And just, I'm the Radio Maniac. And when you get in there, it'll have the GJRB online with the little antique radio. And right underneath, right there, if you see it, you'll see the widget pop up. You'll see the show's name, the Gary Russen program, 100417, and it'll show the widget come up, and you can listen right there, and you can also comment right there by clicking the balloon icon, and you can go right on there. It's that simple. It's just, there you go. So if you want to contact me there, I'd love to hear from you today. The Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. I'm happy you could be aboard with me today. Got a lot to talk about, and a lot of things going on. So we're going to be talking a lot about that in the news today. And if you have lots of that stuff to talk about, we'd love to hear from you. Like I said, I'm always delighted when I do get a call, either from family, friends. My good friend in Coquille, she called a couple of times ago, and I'm working on the Best of the Gary Russen program. I haven't got that done yet. I'll talk about that coming up. But, it takes me a long time to get those together, so what I'm doing is getting a whole, pages and pages worth of clips, so I can have more shows on more often. And I haven't had any on since summer, since July, so it's time for another Best of Gary Russen program. So we got that coming up too. Now we'll talk about that and a whole lot more coming up as we continue the Gary Russen program on GJRB.
Website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
Strange things in the sky and around the world. Strange beings sighted. What's going on? All around us, conspiracy theories are being discussed. This is the show all about the strange things that are way out there. I'm Gary Russen, and this Way Out There's back with more weird stories of the strange and the bizarre. Keep looking up in the sky and let me know what you see. way out there. Every third Friday at 2 o'clock Central on GJRB.
In times where